Oh, are you gonna come on here?
Come on, man. We got
involved.
All right.
He was pirate at 40s in Trinity.
Oh, really? The classic early scam. Although if he had just bought the Bitcoin, that scam would have worked.
What are we
Talking about Bitcoin. Chase thinks Dogecoin is a bad buy.
You
Doge?
Pirates, right?
I did.
That was your yeah.
Yeah, that was my thing.
So if he had just bought the Bitcoin, it all would have worked fine, right?
Sorry. And what's your name? Sorry.
I'm
the audience.
I'm that guy.
That guy.
Yeah. Very anonymous. They're face searching you right now. We have people on that.
Google scan.
Reverse
My name
image
is
lookup.
Jason Seibert. I'm a lawyer sometimes. I'm not your lawyer.
No, I interviewed Jason on my podcast. We did a whole segment on the securities law issues on the Shavers case, Trendon Shavers.
So are you working on any interesting cases at the moment?
No.
Well, what I've done over the last couple of years is instead of doing direct representation in actions, is I've been trying to consult various projects on how to try to be successful within the law, within the regulations, so that they don't face harsh scrutiny.
Is that more focus on kind of ICOs in the token world, or is there a lot of Bitcoin services that?
Well, it's more ICO, not Bitcoin related, but yeah. Various things. What do I smell? Everybody ran off.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on here. What happened?
We'll shuffle up a little bit more.
Very good.
Oh, you're in mic now.
Sure. I'm gonna eat my cookie. Yeah.
So securities is what you're kind of focusing on at the moment. I focus securities and cookies. So
yeah.
On the so do you know much about it? I'd say because I'm a accidental bag holder. During the ICO craze, I probably bought some Enigma and it's in my wallet somewhere.
Well, Enigma just had a little issue that came out the other day with the SEC and a voluntary consent order, right?
Yeah. So they've got they have to refund, but apparently.
Well, that's optional. It's called a rescission offering.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting. And so, do you think that's likely to happen to a lot of other sort of other ICOs? The SEC is going to sort of take a step back, evaluate all of them, and then just suddenly send out a kind of not group letter, but template saying.
A rescission offering is something that has to be approved by the SEC, meaning that the people that are conducting the rescission offering, they find to be trustworthy, that they're going to comply. You actually have to ask whether or not to do that offering or not. Your average everyday bad actor is not going to be able to do the same thing that Enigma was able to do, which is be able to carry on.
Yeah.
Right?
So I suppose there was they showed legitimate certain levels of legitimacy in trying to play by the rules.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it does seem like
I think that consent order came out February 19th. Actually,
yeah, it wasn't too long ago.
Yeah,
I was quite interested because it only dumped the price by about 25%. I thought that would completely sort of tank it, but it's only.
Well, what you get at that point from an exchange point of view is that that's basically admitting that your asset is a security, right? Yeah. And at that point, it limits the number of exchanges that you can actually be traded on, and where it's available, where you can on-ramp and off-ramp out of that, and so on and so forth. And there's a lot of exchanges that are not licensed to trade securities, and so that limits your market. Yeah. And so a 25% reduction in market rate would be expected, if not more, based on the circumstances of the people that are running it, as to whether or not limiting your ability to trade, right?
So in terms of securities, it was meant to be 2019 was meant to be this security boom, the ISO, where everyone was going to tokenize their equity.
Sure.
What do you think was the biggest blocker for that?
Well, the exchanges. I mean, if you don't have a marketplace for your securities offering, if you don't have the ability to transact and buy or sell that product, then then you don't have a product.
Yeah.
Right. And
Yeah.
so I think a lot of the exchanges that don't want to be subjected to regulation or don't want to be associated with that, because I think in the cryptocurrency world, you have a thirst for anonymity.
Yeah.
Right. And you have a thirst
Privacy.
for, a libertarian centrist point of view. It's not the government's business of what I'm doing with my funds. Having to subject themselves to AML and KYC and giving identification for what it is that they're doing. They don't want to play by those rules, and they don't want to gather assets that are going to be subject to letting various governments around the world know what you're holding. So the appetite for that product, I think, is probably, at least at this point in time, less than others.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, that's just a market economics
Yeah.
standpoint.
And I think so one thing that someone mentioned on the privacy sort of side was people don't question privacy in certain areas. Like, for example, like, oh, you can't have your medical records private because you've got something to hide. Like, it's, no one says that because your medical records.
Because it's your medical records. Yeah.
But so why is your financial background any different? Especially when you can use someone's financial background against them. If my wealth wasn't private, I don't have wealth, but if I was someone who was rich and had wealth that wasn't private, then it can be used against me. So
sure,
the argument of privacy is.
Well, I think from a financial standpoint, nobody's ever really been accused of committing crimes for having cancer.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Right. So when you're looking at the type of information, the type of right of privacy of actions, it your own personal health is your own personal health, but what you're doing with your money, how you got your money, those things, that impacts other people.
Yeah.
And the moment you're impacting other people, now you're infringing on other people's rights. And the moment you're infringing potentially on other people's rights, now you have regulation that comes down. And if you think about that from a libertarian viewpoint, we all want to be whole in our persons, and we all want to be individuals. And we get very upset when other people infringe upon our own individuality, right? What are you doing? Leave me alone. I'll leave you alone.
Yeah.
And we're all fine. But when somebody does us wrong,
yeah,
we want justice of some form, right? And nobody ever said, screw you, you have cancer, you're impacting me.
That's very true.
Right.
Yeah.
But if you run a scam and you take my money telling me that you're going to be the next great cryptocurrency, you have affected me because you've taken my hard-earned dollars. So that's where that privacy right changes.
Yeah, so that's a very good point, actually. Yeah, I think it's like my dad's a copper, you see, and he really believes in the hype kind of. He's like, why don't we just everything open, everything on CCTV because I've got nothing to hide, and
a lot of people have a lot of things to hide.
Yeah, but it's interesting that like I can kind of see if.
And it doesn't mean that what they're hiding is bad. It's just
But then, yeah, I don't know.
I don't know your audience and whether or not I can go blue or not. Right.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well, and yes, it is interesting though that the from the privacy perspective, it goes back to the why encrypt anything if people have got nothing to hide, people have got nothing to hide them.
Okay, so I'm sure the right of privacy. And I'm probably going to enter a topic that's going to curl a couple of noses, right? But in the United States, there was a case a long time ago that established the foundations for State versus Roe. And it was right of privacy in the bedroom. There used to be these arcane laws in the United States that said that you could not use contraception if you were married. And a married woman went to court and said, how are you going to enforce this, Judge?
Yeah.
Are you going to be staring into my goddamn bedroom wondering whether or not I'm using a condom or not?
Yeah.
And there became this concept of there is a right of privacy in certain things that we do that are private, and you have that expectation.
Yeah.
And so when you're translating that human centralized, in my own existence, I have a right of privacy of being an individual, and it's not harming anybody else. let me be who I'm going to be.
Yeah.
Right. And one of the, I mean, I could get graphic and say, if I want to put Jello in my ear, masturbating to, some form of pornography, that's my business, so long as it's not hurting anybody else and it's not impacting anybody else, right? And I'm not saying that, but using extreme bookends on things, right? But when you look at various crypto scams, now the invasion of the privacy at that point is that you're invading somebody's home or invading somebody's personal space and saying, "Give me your money, your hard-earned money. That's my privacy, is my money.
Yeah,
give me that. I'm going to do something with that, and I promise you I will do something with it and you're going to make more."
Yeah.
That is the invasion of the privacy, and that if you're lying to me and you're scamming me, no, you don't have a right to privacy with that.
Yeah.
So from a libertarian constitutional standpoint, that's very simple to understand. David.
I've come to be your lawyer.
Excellent. Don't do that.
That's just what this panel needs is more lawyers.
We're talking about green Jello porn.
Yeah, back in 10's fine. Yeah.
We're talking about we're on the subject of putting Jello in our ears and masturbating to Dire Straits, wasn't it?
Yes.
Sounds very legal.
Yeah. So on privacy, so general privacy of there's certain elements of your life that they may not be doing something bad or illegal, but you want the privacy. So introduction, David Silver. Thanks for having you back. I think we interviewed last year.
Cameras.
We're on that one.
We're on the couch.
This is David Silver. Last year when I got interviewed at Unconfiscatable, I was ridiculous. I was almost 45 pounds heavier. So this is the slim version. And just now fat David.
We had a great time last year. We talked about micro league baseball. We used to play on the Apple II.
We did.
Things like that back in the day. So welcoming back Counselor Silver. We have the full legal panel now.
And this is my lawyer. So that tells you he's one of the best lawyers in the space.
I'm not your lawyer.
So we've seen all your tweets. You're ready to go. You're ready to take down these people. You're the one always tweeting like the ghost of Christmas past. You're like, you might have forgotten to fill out this form, and now you're going to get sued by Silver Law and Company. You might have not done this right. Silver Law and Company is coming for you. So I definitely don't want that happening to me.
At the end of the day, it's been really fun and learning in this space. But, if you can take away the sad aspect of most people I represent, unfortunately lost their money, the enthusiasm for which they still want to continue in the space is one of the most fascinating experiences I've had. They all believe they're early adopters and they want to stay in it, despite my best legal advice.
Yeah.
My best legal advice to everybody is to put their money in their mattress.
Put their private keys in their mattress, or their USD in their mattress?
Their USD. Your private keys, I can't even tell you where to put your private keys, but,
Yeah. There's a right to privacy where you put your private keys. Let's be calm. But David, while we're here, I want to make sure that did you get your speaker ballot for the Scammies? Because I have my speaker ballot here for the Scamme Awards, and I noticed that there's a few filled out ballots here that's on your desk. And David, I'm wondering if you have a most clueless crypto community candidate for this year. We have Ripple, we have Ethereum, we have Bitcoin Cash, and we have Bitcoin Satoshi version. Do you have your vote for most clueless crypto community? I noticed that, I don't know if the cameras see this or not, or if they've seen any of these images, but Ripple seems to be a bunch of zombies. Is that right? I've got my reading glasses on.
It is, yeah. It looks
It's
like
a bunch of
they're kind of
zombies.
Walking Dead type people, aren't they?
And
Unicorns and rainbows for Ethereum.
but I'm wondering, what's the group that there's a certain group that dresses up in animal costumes.
The furries.
Furries.
Yeah.
Is Ethereum, are they representing the furry?
You'd have to ask them that. It all
caucus.
depends if there's
a
a
furry cock or a furry caucus. I'm not.
It depends on whether there's a zipper on the furry costume and where the zipper is.
But is Ethereum basically the furries? Do they have your audience seen these?
They've dressed up. I mean, we have some bigger versions of some of them, but yeah, they might. I mean, I know Vitalik's known to dress up like a unicorn. And that's probably what it is
And
in the
that's
picture.
fine. What he does
In his
in
own
In the
own
privacy of his home room, yeah.
is
yeah.
perfectly legal. That's fine, so long as it doesn't hurt anybody else. And we've gone over this, right? So, I'm trying to do this with a straight face.
You're having trouble even filling out the ballot. Even the ballot.
I love seeing Jason speechless. It doesn't happen frequently.
For most clueless crypto community.
Yeah.
This is a really tough call.
I don't think. I mean,
Real Sophie's choice. Yeah.
I mean, the Nevada caucus is going on right now. for the
Absolutely. I
Democratic
wish I was
primary,
there.
And I'm wondering whether or not I can separate my delegates amongst the candidates here.
You want to do ranked choice voting? Give us a 1, 2, 3, 4 on this.
Well,
It's even harder with ranked choice voting, I think.
So-
You really have to think about
I
it.
think my number one is probably Ripple. I think it's.
We were strong on Ripple. We had a lot of votes for Ripple.
wait, which
here.
one's this for? Most evil Bitcoin
No,
company?
most clueless.
Clueless
crypto.
community.
And I'd have to go with Ripple. I think out of these four choices,
It's above.
Oh, it's going above. Okay.
and the only reason is that so last year, and I drive quite a bit across the United States, and I heard a radio advertisement in Boulder, Colorado, for a home equity loan company that was advertising home equity loans for you to be able to invest in Ripple using the equity in your home. And my head exploded at that point. And all I could think about was the guys sitting there in their cars in traffic going, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to get me rich on Ripple.
So wait, that's not the worst one, because in the BitConnect case, the lead plaintiff in BitConnect, who did an article with the Wall Street Journal, which is why I feel comfortable talking about this, he took a second mortgage on his house the week BitConnect went down and put his entire life savings, and then because it was going so well, and then took his second mortgage to put into BitConnect. I mean, it's crazy how many people have done that type of investment where they said, I'm going to put everything into this one company. OneCoin's another one where people took out second and third mortgages.
That was doctorly high.
Yeah.
That's still going in Uganda, I hear. Like, they're still doing like the MLM type OneCoin conferences.
Yes.
She's actually a doctor or not.
It's on the run for sure. Yeah, you can't find her.
Indictments out there seeking those folks. But I got to tell you, from a presentation standpoint, their YouTube video production for their media campaign was amazing. Everybody's showing up on stage in tuxedos, and they've got fireworks. And
well, I'll tell you guys, you might not have heard of this, but my favorite thing about the OneCoin scam is these guys, Chris DeRose and Junseth, they infiltrated one of the meetings. Now, this is one like full-on MLM thing. You got to pay $10K. You got to get your family in. And what the guy said when he was convincing them is he said, I know it in my knower.
Yeah.
That was just the best phrase ever. I was like, I know it in my knower. This is going to be a good investment. We're going to make so much money on this one coin.
Well,
it's great.
Uncensored did that. And then also when they went into the headquarters of Cripsy and interviewed Paul Vernon during the crash. And they're like, so what's going on? And
I mean, I don't know if you guys...
everything's fine.
Oh, man.
I mean, I don't know if you guys see this. My head's literally growing as he's talking. OneCoin at lead class action plaintiffs law firm, Silver Miller. Cripsy, Coinbase, lead class action plaintiffs lawyer, Silver Miller. There's a reason, I'm doing these things. In Cripsy, actually, we settled the Coinbase for $1 million. It became public about a month ago. At least at the end of the day, I mean, when Cripsy went down, Bitcoin was trading about $250 a Bitcoin. We've brought in now close to $3 million. So I know a lot of the people view the crypto as still having been theirs. When you invest in the Ponzi scheme, you don't get to actually, reap the benefits of it. But we've actually done well to get some of those people their money back that they lost. They were early adopters and they feel they should have done better. I wish we could have done more. We're still, if you guys heard us speaking out there on the Law Review panel, we're talking about we're going after those 11,000 Bitcoin, and we'll see if we can change the world. Changing the world is a hard thing to do, especially when you don't have the private keys. So it's a tough gig.
Now, before you tokenize your law firm, is there anything going on in the Mt. Gox case? Have you got anything there? Because I know that money is still sitting there. People are losing their minds. It hasn't been distributed. The Japanese government's involved. Any kind of movement? Is anyone going to get paid?
I have nothing to do with the Mt. Gox case, so I can say the only thing that has improved is Fortress has offered people more money for their claims. And that's a good sign that Fortress thinks the money's coming and coming soon.
Excellent.
I think so. I was caught up with you over there. So if there's any other idiots out there who are in BitGrail and have lost Nano or XRB or whatever it was, get in touch.
So again, lead plaintiff, class action plaintiff appointed by the court in the Nano case. That case is moving along slowly, but we're slowly but surely, that case is going to come to a resolution hopefully sooner than later. And again, there are a lot of people who put their life savings into an exchange in Italy, based on what U.S. citizens were telling them to do. And it's been a jurisdictional fight so far. We're going to see how it goes. But look, everyone here who's investing, and I say this all the time, if you meet a guy who lives in California and he tells you to invest in his company, and his company is in a country that you can't point to on a map, then don't invest.
You guys share a microphone. One of the mics stopped working, but you still got. You guys gotta share.
Yeah.
So, Tone, what we were just going over is what we believe to be our most clueless crypto community vote. I have my speaker ballot that I have.
Ripple is messing everything up. Like anytime you put
voted for
Ripple on
Ripple,
a ballot, it's always gonna be Ripple.
Well, that
Like
was our vote,
IOTA
actually.
can turn off. Like on the same week that IOTA turns off their decentralized blockchain.
Did you just say Baby Yoda?
Yes. Like
I'm buying Baby Yoda.
All in.
I'm all in on Baby Yoda.
IOTA
actually.
turns off their blockchain. Steemit sells their blockchain,
Yeah.
and Ripple is still gonna win.
Yeah.
So the next category I wanted to go to, and I'm just asking David here. I'm not asking you, Tom, because you're one of the judges.
Absolutely.
And you're not able to give away anything on what your opinion is. But the next category I wanted to go to was most disliked former maximalist.
Well, I gotta find another picture. Point me a picture.
Right here. Right here.
So I couldn't tell who's top left, Tone. I couldn't tell who it was.
Make sure none of them are being defended
Well,
by
that's
silver.
Bitcoin SV.
David's looking. So I'm not going to discuss anyone on this list because there is
Tone, who's
litigation
the person there
with
for
more than
fake
one.
Bitcoin SV? Who's fake Bitcoin SV? That David doesn't know who that is. We don't know that person.
Oh,
On the top left there.
that is Kevin Pham.
Twitter guy.
Sorry about that, guys. Yeah.
You need a picture with the tattoo.
Yeah. The tattoo is on his chest. It's a small picture.
Gotcha.
It's on his shirt. That is Kevin Pham. Now, in hindsight, Vinny Lingham probably should have not been on this list, but Richard Hart should have been. So next year we'll do a much better job.
Maximalist?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, Kevin Hart is
Not Kevin
prominent.
Hart, sorry, Richard Hart.
Richard Hart is
So
prominent.
Kevin Hart would have been funny.
Yeah.
He's prominent in
One
Scammer
combo.
of the Year at this point. I mean, to be
He's
a
got
most
a lot of
disliked
categories.
categories versus
You don't
Scammer
want
of
to
the
be
Year.
nominated for every category because then you don't win any of them.
But I like best new scam. He's scammer of the year.
See,
I like that.
See, Scammer of the Year is different than Best New Scam, and I'm hoping the same person doesn't win them. But Dr. Craig S. Wright is skewing a lot of the results.
I'm pretty sure I voted for him in most of those categories. Yeah.
Fake PhDs.
What was it? Archaeology?
Yeah.
Archaeology.
Right. Well, for my most disliked former maximalist, and you have to understand this when I say this, I absolutely love this guy. I've hung out with him. He's a genuinely amazing person. I believe his heart is in the right place, but I think the community just absolutely hates him to death, and that's Roger.
Of course, I agree, and I couldn't agree more.
I love Roger. I love what Roger's trying to do, but for whatever reason, and I think I can relate because there's so many people that hate my ass so much. Like all of your viewers, Tom.
I keep trying.
That the amount of shit I take in the troll box from your viewers.
Almost as much as the amount of shit I have to take from you.
I don't give you any shit.
Really? What about my eyebrows?
Your eyebrows are beautiful now. I'm glad you had some work done.
That's a conversation I'm staying out of.
So
We still haven't talked about your shitcoin.
Oh,
it's not my shit.
it was a coin that accidentally turned into a shit coin.
I don't know. So to give a little background for those that don't know, is that Tone, David, and I have known each other probably for 4 or 5 years.
Yeah.
and we go way back. Somebody asked about a shitcoin in your troll box, and they talked about Raven, and absolutely Raven is a shitcoin. I can go on for that for days.
No, that Raven show was great. I think that's what I think my favorite law show, the Bruce Fenton law show. I think it was my favorite episode.
The Hart show was probably better.
The Hart show was good too.
better than the Raven
The
show.
Hart show was good too.
Raven, when the lawyer
Although
when the lawyer called in for the
But
Raven
I
show,
met the lawyer. He was at the social roundtable.
yeah, when
Was
the
he?
lawyer
Pepe
called
the
in,
lawyer. Yeah.
because he's friends with Bruce.
Oh, that's right.
So
Yeah.
it's Bruce's guy. That
Right.
was when he called in and tried to defend himself.
Oh, you're gonna love this one, right? So there were a bunch of Raven.
Jimmy, come in. Come in.
There were
Sit next to Tone.
there
We
were
got Jimmy's song.
there were a bunch
We're gonna
of
scoot over.
there were
Scooting over.
Okay. Something right now. Like I thought we were supposed to be on stage.
yeah
No,
we're a
live
little
broadcasting.
behind, so I'm here.
Okay, this is more important than the stage.
So you're gonna love this one. So we're at Satoshi Roundtable. Jimmy didn't go this year. I don't think you guys have gone.
I've never been invited.
never invited.
At Satoshi
Publicly
Roundtable,
insulted it on Twitter.
Bruce and I,
Not
I
welcome.
Bruce, I'm like, come
we
on,
can
Bruce.
get you guys invited.
I'm like, I want my invite this
I
year,
get you
Bruce.
guys invited.
Bruce
Ba-
finally
ba-
likes me.
If you call them elitist, you won't
No.
be invited.
based on based on the people that were there this year, I get you guys invited. So we're at
Lower
we're
standards.
at the poker table. There's a lot of like anyone that's anyone in Ravencoin was there. So all the Ravencoin
no
guys
one.
are there. So we're playing poker.
There's many people in Ravencoin that don't like me.
Edgar,
That's okay.
Allen,
We're playing poker, and one of the Ravencoin guys, ironically, a Ravencoin, like one of the top Ravencoin developers or whatever, isn't it? His name
Tron,
is Tron. Yeah, Tron. Right. His name is Tron. And he's like the top Ravencoin developer. And we're playing poker at this table. It's already late, like 1 in the morning.
I think he's the only guy with commit permissions.
Yeah. The only guy? Oh God.
Yeah,
So everyone is drinking, and like we talked about it like a little bit, like, and then like at that table it was like his turn. One of the other guys is like, hey, the Falcon Coin guy, it's your turn.
Falcon.
You call him Falcon Coin instead of Raven Coin, and that sounded so much cooler. So
Falcon Coin sounds good.
we were referring to Raven Coin as Falcon Coin like for the next day and a half.
David, I got to ask you, would you buy Falcon Coin over Raven Coin today, just on name alone?
I'm gonna have to go Falcon Coin over Raven Coin on name alone.
That's why.
He's got the two C's in it. The two C's
So
of power.
Jimmy's asking why he's here. He doesn't understand why he's here.
I gotta go back to running the conference. So
We're supposed to be on.
and we have a panel coming up as our final panel. But the scammies, we're gonna try to stream the scammies from the after party. If we can't, it will premiere like tomorrow or something, or the next day.
Your final panel is why shitcoins will fail, right?
Yes. Why? Well, they'll die. But thank you for being nice. No, why shitcoins will die.
All right. I thought it was something else.
Yeah.
I thought you were being provocative.
Not yet. Maybe next year.
Can you give us the one-liner as to why shitcoins will fail? In
Because there's only one scarcity. There's only one blockchain that's decentralized. There's so many facets to it. You have Bitcoin. What Bitcoin did in its first 2 years of existence is not replicatable. Maybe in the future, maybe like when I'm 70, Bitcoin could be recreated in a better way, a better form. It will take another generation and another innovation, like a whole giant leap of technological innovation. Maybe we'll need something maybe in 200 years that could also handle, let's say, a moon colony and a Mars colony, right? Yeah. So maybe it will have to have a giant generational leap in
Peter Todd
technology.
says we might need Mars coin and Moon coin because it'd be so difficult to synchronize the various blockchains planet to planet.
Like, it's known.
What makes Bitcoin valuable isn't the fact that it's fast or cheap or private, and all those things are coming. What makes it valuable is just the fact it's trustless, and people trust the fact that it's trustless. How do you recreate that? I don't know. Jimmy, maybe you have a better answer.
Well, I mean, I want to save it for the panel, no? Yeah. You don't give too many secrets away.
So, shocker, I'm going to be a little controversial here. All right. You talk about, we don't need to fight.
Why not? It's more fun then.
But
better ratings.
So with the concept that Bitcoin is decentralized and trustless, I have a hard time signing on to that today versus 6 years ago, based on the concentration of hash power and mining power into minimal locations. And so what I'd like to know is if you're claiming that Bitcoin is the everyman, decentralized, trustless deal, how can we do that with the concentration of hash power?
I'll take this one really quick. First of all, I feel that the concentration of hash power was a lot worse 6 years ago than now. I think that hash power is more decentralized now than it has been at, let's say, not a specific point, but if you go back, I think Bitcoin hash power is pretty damn decentralized now, and it's as good as it's ever been. Now, even, but I will.
Last year or 2 years ago, what was the mining pool that had combined amongst their pools had 51% of
that was in 2014. That was GHashIO, and within a year later, it had 1%. But I understand what you're saying. But
because
okay.
We're going to go back to Hester Pearson's comment,
Yeah,
and the SEC's comment about sufficient decentralization.
right.
Wait. Someone got bothered by a Jason soliloquy.
Yeah.
Who could have ever imagined that?
Right, look, because I understand where you're going. Like, I'm going to go back on stage. Now, I will say that I feel that Bitcoin hash power is as decentralized now as it's ever been. You can disagree with that. This is
I think numbers
right.
and algorithms.
Right. You can disagree with that, but like,
It's all comes down to a legal definition of decentralization.
Sure. But like, right.
1 year from today,
Right.
we're gonna have that answer.
Now,
Well,
I've
and
already
1 year from today, we're gonna
get
have
ready.
that answer.
How
confident.
decentralized that Bitcoin is, you
Right.
better come up with numbers to say that, because you're just giving your opinion, and that's the thing.
But get
Well,
ready
well,
for
you
an
talk about-
unfortunate fact.
at the
The
moment,
coronavirus is actually going to help decentralize Bitcoin. No one wants to hear about it.
Yeah. All right.
Knows everything about
Guys, I gotta go on stage.
I want to know
Guys, I gotta go back on stage. But like, that's an opinion we can debate. I think that Bitcoin is as decentralized now as it's ever been. But that's debatable. That part's debatable.
Maybe because we didn't keep
But
stats
that's
before.
not the only thing that makes Bitcoin decentralized. That's my point. So let me just finish this. So I feel that mining is decentralized. You can disagree and we can debate that. To me, what makes Bitcoin decentralized is not just mining. It's a triangle. One of the 3 points of the triangle is mining. The other point is the number of full nodes, fully validating nodes. And the third one is core development. Okay.
We talked about this on stage.
Right.
And
I believe all 3 points of this triangle on Bitcoin are decentralized. Even if 1 point on that triangle, mining, can be proven to be borderline centralized, that still is not enough to say that Bitcoin is centralized. That's just one part of 3.
What we're going to have to do in the next couple of years in order to survive the suggested promulgated rules is to be able to define that triangle of yours.
Sounds like I need to write a blog post.
Sufficient.
I think Tone should walk away the winner right
I
now.
know.
He got Jason to agree with him.
And before
He got Jason to agree with him.
and before I leave, I'm going to be more controversial. Jason should read my last blog post because it talks about food. I'm sorry, Silver. David Silver.
I was like, what's happening here? Did you just call me fat?
No, you're looking good though, man. You dropped some weight there. You dropped some weight, David.
27 pounds.
I know you dropped some weight, man. But did you read my blog post on how I eat?
That's
No, I didn't read your
not
blog
an
post.
You need to read
case,
that
if you
one.
ask me.
All right, guys, I got to go back on stage. Thanks so much for coming. Hopefully, I'll see you guys at the Scamme Awards.
All right. Thanks so much, Tone, for joining us. Yeah.
And I know Silver ain't gonna bid, but we're gonna auction off the paintings, the official paintings. We're gonna auction them off. You're Jewish, right?
I love the fact that people just know I'm cheap. I got no problem
We
with
know
that.
you're cheap.
No
But
problem
he better bid. The $850 an hour lawyer better bid.
When we were in Argentina, I bought the Bitcoin hat for half a Bitcoin, and I
Right.
still have that hat.
Right.
And those proceeds went to what was the charity that went to?
Big give.
BitGift, right? So where do these funds go to?
I'm not
They
sure
go to
yet.
the fucking artists, right? And
No, not the artist. Not the artist.
Right?
They go.
Bullshit. It's not going in your. I'm not bidding if it's going in your pocket, Tom. Give me a charity. Give me something to bid against, and I'll put that fucking painting next to my hat.
Okay, so
I paid half a Bitcoin for a hat that said
Right.
make
So-
Bitcoin great again, and it had 4 autographs on it.
Right.
Yeah.
So we haven't, Jason. So we
It
haven't
was 1,000, but now
we haven't
trying to get me to buy.
thought that far ahead.
Well,
But
this is a shitcoin
but
scam right here.
but there's a
Oh,
bot
we haven't
coming.
thought that
There's a
far
bot coming. They're not going into my pocket. I haven't figured out where they're not going in my pocket. So they're going to support future conferences, or
That's it.
or when we find the right charity for Bitcoin core development, that's where they're going. Core development. We support core development.
Listen,
Core
hold on,
development.
Wait a minute. Tone, will you take Ravencoin?
No. We only take Bitcoin. All right, guys, I gotta go.
Thanks. Catch you later, man.
Yeah. In the meantime, you guys got free booze right there. Yeah, exactly. So he's drinking free alcohol, but he's giving me shit about where the money's gonna go.
I'm making you money. Shut the fuck up.
As long
Get
as it
out.
goes behind the bar.
So sorry if we've taken over a little bit.
No, I love
It's
it.
all
It's
in
fun.
good fun.
Yeah.
All right. So maybe one more category.
Oh, we go for the.
My ballot. Where'd it go?
It's good. It's good to know that people watching this love Ton. I'm just saying. It's good to know.
That one guy does.
guys are speakers, your vote count like 10x.
We're super delegates. I understand you're a Democrat. Yeah.
Put the word speaker on top.
It's already there.
Fill them out,
Yeah.
and then your vote actually counts.
Okay. So we've got.
Unlike the U.S. presidential.
So we've already done the most clueless crypto community of Ripple and the most disliked of. Again, I love Roger. I love what he's doing, but for whatever reason, he's the most disliked.
Maybe it's because he copied Bitcoin and said it was the real Bitcoin. Maybe it's something like that, like direct fraud against the original project that made him rich.
Well, I don't know if it was direct fraud. That's questionable.
You just sell me like widgets and they're not the right widgets. I'm not very happy with you.
I've got this theory that Roger Ver is actually, he's still Bitcoin Jesus, but he's undercover. And what he's doing is he's been instrumental in all the he's been instrumental in all the forks so that he can fractionalize the opposition to the real Bitcoin. And eventually he's going to come full circle and he's going to be like resurrected. He'll come back like, and he'll be like, that's it, I'm Bitcoin Jesus.
Mistakes away.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
what I can say is that I have spent good quality time with Roger.
I feel everyone's drunk but me.
in,
I definitely deserve a
in
drink.
Kits, where he's had his developers that he flies in from around the world into St. Kitts, and the developers are top notch. They're good quality. They're good meaning people. We've spent many days together on the islands just talking about everything from good local food to issues of technology. And so he's putting together a good team. So if anybody ever questions whether or not Roger actually has a good team or not, or if he's full of shit or if he's doing anything, no, I've actually seen his team. I've worked with the team. I've been there. I've seen what he's doing. He's got some great guys and they're happy to be there and they're happy to be doing the work.
Intentions are all good. It's just
All the intentions are good.
the path is different.
The path to hell is paved with good intention.
What we're talking
We
about,
just need to get Roger to call me poor. Can he go on Twitter and say, hey, at Mad Bitcoins, you are poor? That's why I just need that for my fundraising. So.
I'm not going to ask him to do that, but you're going to ask me to do that. So,
He can help.
Roger doesn't talk to me. He's not a fan. I don't know why. Maybe there was a CNBC special. I don't know. Maybe we were both on it, and I may have told the truth.
and I want to be clear. I'm not defending Roger's projects. I'm just saying Roger's a really good guy. And you can
hold on. There are lots of good people who do bad
But you know
things.
what I'm saying?
No, I don't know what you're
Hitler
saying. I don't know
loved
what you're saying.
dogs. He was just a big fan of dogs.
Yeah, I mean,
and man, he was really good to the SPCA. And man, awesome.
Sorry, man.
No, it was a teed up softball, to be sure. It's okay.
So who does get your vote then of the
Let's see it.
most disliked?
Well, it's Roger.
It is Roger then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He is the most disliked former maximalist. But I'm saying that
Right. Yeah.
what I'm saying is I understand
personal.
why it's not
Yeah.
personal. But if you ask anybody, do you like Roger Ver or not in the space? Like, they either like him or they don't. He's a very polarizing figure.
Yeah.
I just can't believe that adding 2 lawyers to this show made it fun.
You clearly haven't seen my show.
I just want to see a category that says most disliked lawyer. I mean, we have our own show. We should have a disliked lawyer.
Well, we'd actually submitted before this conference that there needed to be the lawyer most likely to trigger someone. And it was a toss-up between David and myself.
Only Jason thinks it's a toss-up. So we were going back last night, and we were staying in a different hotel, and we're getting some ice cream in like the ice cream shop. And this couple stops us, and they're like, "Oh my God, you're that lawyer from the law show!" And they point to me, and I'm like, "Seriously, I'm being recognized in the Golden Nugget? Like this? Come on, the Golden Nugget, the ice cream shop, like the Golden Nugget." And I was sitting there, and we start talking, and all of a sudden, the guy turns around, and he starts looking at Jason, and he goes, "Wait, you're the guy. You're that guy. You're the one that fights with people." And I was like, "Yes." I'm like, "He's the one that fights with people. I don't fight with people. It's just most people who watch the show, they don't agree with my politics. That's completely different than fighting with people. I don't fight with people. I love people. I just want them to give me their money."
I will tell somebody they're a fucking moron any day of the week and twice on Sunday.
Or to be fair, when David heard that I was part of the BitGrail the fallen BitGrail crew, fucking moron was the same.
Right.
I accept that though. That's my own fault. It's a technical term, isn't it? Yeah.
Okay, so one last category. To recap, we've done most clueless crypto community at Ripple, most disliked former maximalist at Roger. Sorry, Roger. And what I want to go now, of course, the granddaddy of them all is Scammer of the Year.
Well, there's Scammer of the Year or Scammer of the Lifetime Scammer Award. So there's two.
What's Scammer of the Year? Who's nominated?
Yeah. So Scammer of the Year, go on. We've got what?
Is he pointing at me?
David.
Is he pointing at me? The lifetime scammer.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Well, okay. Again, I can't vote on these things. I will not be submitting a ballot because I'm suing too many of these people. I'm actually disappointed more people I'm suing aren't on this list. I personally think the people I am suing are a little deserve to be on some of these lists.
It's a sign you're going to win, isn't it?
So, I mean, look, for the year, I think it's pretty obvious. It's got to be Hex. For the year, I mean, that was one of the worst scams because it was also like BitConnect. Everyone that was actually in the community, the leaders of the community called out BitConnect. The leaders of the community called out Hex before it was hacked, stolen, Ponzi, call it whatever you want. So,
and yet still all these people put their money in and they all lost their money. It's almost as if everything we do as leaders or whatever, Twitter people, influencers, it doesn't matter. These idiots are going to put their money in whatever new thing comes up that's shiny and pretty.
Isn't it what we're hoping that's what coronavirus takes care of? Yeah,
I'm not. I'm against the Dark Ages. I'm against the Black Plague. I vote on Black Plague.
What was it? Revolution on NBC a couple of years ago. Where there was no more technology.
Well, the Georgia Guidestones say that there should be a lot less people and a lot more trees. So, unfortunately, if the coronavirus gets us closer to that, a lot of people will be in favor of it.
I just want to be crystal clear. I knew nothing about coronavirus except that it existed until I met Jason's wife. And she now told me we're all dying. She's like, it's not going to be a couple of people. I'm like, it's like the flu, a couple of people.
And the funny
she's
thing
like,
is,
no,
she's
going to
right
die.
over there nodding her head going, yes.
No mask, no anything.
She's actually right now, she's
a live
she's
update.
On her phone getting what she calls plague porn.
No.
Plague porn.
No.
And she's nodding her head. Yes, she admits it. Okay, who's on the board today? So the other day, Iran got on the board with 2 dead, 2 cases, and then all clear. It was like they hit the trifecta.
Did we see that Trump said he was not aware of the people coming back on the plane? He had a problem with it. He was very upset. But then he had a picture of the plane that brought the people back. Is the craziest picture of a plane ride
with the biscuit bubble.
Yeah,
in a plastic box. Yeah.
It was crazy.
Because somehow the plastic is going to protect you. Whoa. South Korea
coming in.
Wait. Who? Italy's got 77. fresh on the board.
But
Italy,
the
77.
positive news, they said that it topped out in China, that we've topped out because they changed
so many lies.
they changed the reporting requirements so we could be happy. I want to be happy though. I want to be happy.
And here's the thing: is that when China withholds the testing kits so that nobody can test positive because there's no testing kits to test positive, you no longer have new cases.
Well, with the American cruise ship thing, they didn't test them beforehand so that when they got them home, they couldn't be blamed for the horrible results of the
But I don't
trip.
think I don't think it was the Americans that did that.
You got to test them beforehand scientifically. You just
And
gotta
that's
have
the scammer
tests.
of the year. We've somehow
Listen, there was a infectious disease test center very close to the Wuhan market where all of this is supposedly started. And there's some whisperings on the interweb nets that test facility, after injecting various animals with like SARS and Ebola and everything else, then when they were done with the animals and after the animals died, sold the animals for human consumption to the Wuhan market.
So my wife thinks I'm on vacation.
Right,
My wife claims I'm on vacation. I want you to understand, I've been the third wheel to Jason and his wife for the last 3 days. This is what the last 3 days of my life have
It's all
been.
death and destruction.
So you're absolutely terrified now. You're completely gone.
Well, we've already told him that he's going to die.
I'm gonna
And
die.
so his diet is out the window.
Screw the diet. Screw not smoking. Screw no drugs. I mean, I'm going in. I've been on 3 flights.
I'm fairly certain last night he had a $50 hooker that had AIDS, and he didn't care because screw it, we're all going to die anyway.
What are you
Right?
talking about? She told me those weren't track marks.
And she told you she was over 18. I know. I get it. It's all right.
Well, I feel
They get that case totally dead. Who cares? I
I
mean,
feel like when they tell you they have a 12-year-old, they have to be over 18.
Oh, sweet baby Jesus in a manger. I don't know what's happening right now. On that note,
On that bombshell, ladies and gentlemen, I did. So on on the testing center, someone's pointed out that there's the logo is exactly the same as the Umbrella Corp.
sure. Yes, we saw that from Resident
Evil, yeah.
Yes.
That's uncanny, isn't it?
It's
I love
not
it.
exactly, but it's
Well,
a close
yeah, it's like
proximity.
yeah.
And you know, in anything that's associated with, like, I'm going to screw up Mila.
Oh yeah,
I don't even know how to say it, but anything
Nothing
that's
to do.
associated with that is, I'm fine.
yeah,
Kill me.
yeah. Especially
Right?
the outfit in the Fifth Element with the old white tape.
She's perfect. Right?
Yeah.
She's perfect.
Why have why have we got so much red tape? Why do we have lots of white tape? on
Right.
there?
There's a lot of white tape.
Yeah.
You can have
Oh,
white
yeah.
tape. No, but I mean, we can switch to coronavirus if you want, but I think really the subject matter that people give a shit about is
no. We care about
Yeah.
not dying. Everyone at home wants to spend their big money. They have mansions to buy. They want to not die.
They all have that high yield investment program that's going right now.
If
you
it
know.
goes 100x, but I die, who cares, right? I have to live.
What's the scam? What's the scam right
No,
now?
none
You know,
so
is
far.
USTI still going on? What else is going on right now? What's another high yield investment program? It's not on the list right now.
Well, I have OneCoin still circulating in like Uganda and stuff.
Well, they're still doing a little bit, but there was a criminal conviction out in New York for Mark Scott. The brother pled guilty.
Why haven't they found Ruja? Isn't she findable? Like
Dr.
she's-
Ruha.
Yeah,
Well,
she's
why-
some rich lady somewhere.
And by
We
the way,
have her
she's
picture.
I don't know why she's not here.
I mean,
She
she
escaped. She's a winner.
She actually blows most of these people away on
she's
stolen
normal,
money.
Well,
Yeah.
that would be on Lifetime Scammer Achievement Award. but
Yeah.
she's not here.
She should be
Yeah.
on there. Yeah.
I mean, there's going to be a lot of derivative lawsuits on that one. It's going to get really interesting because the government, depending on who you believe, is locked up between $40 and $400 million. So
when you say locked up, as in like the government, like people in the government were like, let's buy OneCoin.
no. The government froze accounts and the money's frozen.
I've got no idea. Like someone's
Like-
it's the new Bitcoin. It's the new Bitcoin.
First of all, if there was a government official anywhere that said, I've got a great idea, let's buy OneCoin, I would want to take them out back and beat the shit out of them with a rubber hose.
I don't know. Trump's nominating new people every day. We have a lot of new people coming.
Well, no, even Trump would not buy OneCoin. I gotta give him at least that much. That he's not that much of a.
He was in Home Alone 2.
And
You know what? You want
Well, he
to
wasn't in the
say?
They cut him out for time on the Canadian version. It wasn't an important scene, not an important scene.
and learn that there's a Home Alone 3.
That's
They
true
made a
horror.
third
That's
movie.
trure horror. Yeah.
You know,
Different kid.
I have,
Different kid. They
I have
changed
younger
the kid.
kids. And my kids, all of a sudden, we watch Home Alone 1, 2, and 3, and 3 is terrible.
The only,
I mean, 2 wasn't exactly good. But, you
so
know,
as a
3
lawyer,
was
the only
terrible.
thing I have to ask is when are Child Protective Services going to be called in order to get this kid under fucking control? And where are the parents? God damn it! Really?
Well, he said Michael
Where are the
Jackson never touched him, so we're on the clear there.
All right, so
Otherwise, that's another big pot for David to go sue here. Keep him away from that Wonderland money.
David chooses Hex, and I'm right there. I interviewed Hart. Did you guys see that?
He's a big talker, isn't he? He's a good talker.
He's a good debater.
Did you guys see the 5 hours of grilling? And I kept telling him, I was like, dude, you understand? This is a record.
But he's in
Like,
he's in
the
Thailand
Department
or
of
something. He
Justice.
doesn't care, right? I mean, he's not a U.S. citizen at this point, right? I mean, he had his real name Schuler. He's allegedly the spam king. He made
It's
all
a
his money off
record.
spam.
He went on a live broadcast that was recorded and rebroadcast and is on YouTube.
I think more of a record like they scammed
generated
so many people. They made
a
so much money. They're
record.
winners.
Right. I mean, that's the thing about a lot of these guys is they want to go on, they want to have all the publicity, they want to be the big time, and they don't realize that the AMA that they do online, either chatting or texting.
Totally
or the AMA
admissible.
they do,
Yeah.
on
Yeah, but
YouTube
he
or
doesn't
anything else,
care.
these are
He
all
was on there because he
representations.
wanted to squeeze out the last couple of
He's got
dollars.
the crystal
He's like
jewels
this-
behind him and
yeah.
the throne and stuff. The pretty
He scammed out.
clothes.
He scammed out
Doing
those last
well,
couple
right?
$100,000 and was like, "Thank you, Jason, for giving me that airtime, for screwing your viewership."
Unfortunately, that might be the case. Exposing a scam sometimes advertise
you're
a scam.
complicit.
Yeah.
You're complicit. Oh my God! Well, I may have to sue you for aiding and abetting. Oh my God! This is so new.
You're making a record. You're making a record.
Jason Cyber. So what I
Best
do I pick
supporting
myself?
scammer.
Best supporting scammer of the year.
That's the boarding
Right?
scammer. There's your new category.
Best aider and abetter.
Editor and a better. He drove the Bronco.
I had nothing to do with the scam except I told everyone how much money I made. That's my
so
favorite.
much.
I was in Hex early. I got all my money out. I'm worth $10 million.
I know people that sing the praises of BitConnect because they got out early.
Yeah.
Everyone makes money sometimes.
Well,
It's musical chairs. I say it all the time.
Yeah.
In musical chairs, 99.9% of the people lose when the music stops. There's only one winner.
You're like,
That's it. Musical chairs.
so as the first rule of Fight Club is to not talk about Fight Club. The first rule of getting into a Ponzi scheme is to get out early. If you get out early, everything's great.
So let me
That's solid legal advice right there. Get out early of your Ponzi schemes.
when you're in the Ponzi scheme, get out early. Here's the second thing. If you off ramp your money in
your
USD,
troll box told me to put some more work in. I don't even know what that means. What does that mean?
he means get a job.
More scams. Bring Vitalik on.
That's
You got to
what
do
that-
five. You got to do 5 hours with Vitalik so that Ethereum could come back, man. You made Hex possible. Says random
You are
guy on the
responsible for
internet.
the scam of the year.
Are you on the white paper? You have to get lawyer.
Wow. The things I've learned today. I am shocked and appalled. Shocked and appalled.
I cannot believe there's gambling in this establishment.
For,
My
for
God.
all the 16-year-old people out there that don't understand that reference, go watch a Humphrey Bogart movie. Right?
That is my favorite Twitter GIF. Just right there. That's my favorite Twitter GIF.
It's a big moment. The other great one is when he pulls the gun on him and he's like, oh my God, Rick has chosen a side. I can't believe Mr. No Sides is suddenly against me. Yeah, beautiful movie. Casablanca, people. It's in black and white, so you haven't seen it because you're millennials and you don't watch black and white movies. But there are some amazing films made before we had color film. You should try it out.
Bullshit. You're a scammer.
Totally a scammer. Some kind of Citizen Kane
I'm
Max.
telling you right
Get
now.
me out of here.
Here's Jason's scam of 2020. Jason's scam of 2020. He's gonna raise money to put Casablanca in color,
No, I'm not.
and it's gonna be a token. It's gonna be called the Casa token. It's related to Casa. It's gonna be a good one. Trust me.
Right now, people are firing up their copy engines, and my buddy Rhett's gonna make it. He copies everything. He's fantastic. He did Zcoin. He took out the founder's reward or whatever, and he's like, boom, and it went right to the moon. Crazy.
So I think on Scammer of the Year, which is the ultimate award that you could sardonically award somebody here, not literally nor engaging in any kind of liability.
Wait, who's on the bottom right? Wait, who's on the bottom? Who's on the bottom right?
Or actionable case at all.
Who's the bottom right?
That's the York Malt. He's like the guy, the most recent fake Toshi.
Okay, so he's out because I don't even know who he is.
He took a picture with Andreas Antonopoulos and claimed based upon the picture he was Satoshi Nakamoto.
About that story now.
Yeah, that's the guy.
But he's out.
But
He's
he
not
did
even
a bunch of other scams where he convinced a bunch of people to invest in his company or whatever because he, unlike everyone else, is actually Satoshi Nakamoto. He also has a cool like Mad Bitcoins looking hat. I kind of like that.
I would say my
as a hat.
favorite Andreas in the crypto space is not Andreas Antonopoulos. It's Andreas Brecken, and he is the best. If you guys don't know Andreas Brecken,
Sounds familiar.
Brecken sounds familiar. BREKKON.
Ian, yeah. And he's created some amazing satirical products that just, I mean, I love satire. Love me Mike in Space. Love Mike in Space. When he called me up and he said, Jason, I want to do an episode with you of Mike in Space, and you're going to stuff your face full of a pimento loaf. All I could say was, I'm in. I'm doing that. Let's do that. Right? So if you can't laugh at your own industry, if you can't take yourself too seriously, if you know how to move forward and have some fun and innovate, because all of us stay up 22 hours a day trying to do whatever it is that we're doing to try to advance the space. And every now and then you need to let off a little steam. And I think it's the guys that are on hour 21 that get offended, not hour 22 where they're like, fuck it, I get it. Right? On hour 21,
says the guy who's being told he needs to work more. Ask him the last time he worked 21 hours a day on a legal cause.
On a legal issue? It's been a while. Anyway, so to the content creators like you guys that are bringing some humor to the space and some seriousness at the same time, thanks for carrying the torch and thanks for being here and thanks for letting us sit here and
thanks for joining us. It's been a pleasure.
Huh? Yeah. All right. Thanks very much.
Awesome.
All right. Thanks so much, guys.
Great having you on.
Definitely hope to interview you sometime soon on the World Crypto Network. We'll get you on there. Do the legal panel thing.
I'll be in touch about the Holy Grail.
Definitely keep out.
The Holy Bit Grail.
Now be sure to send us Daisy over there. She's supposed to promote her conference. It's very important. People want to promote things.